To support this podcast, go to positivesarcasm.com/donate. Any amount is appreciated. Once again, positivesarcasm.com/donate. Thank you and enjoy the program. Jay here, positivesarcasm.com, recorded here at the Spare Parts Studio. Happy Sunday, everybody. You can find me on Instagram at positive_sarcasm. You can find me on Facebook.com/POSSarcasm, and you can still find me on TikTok at Positive Sarcasm. Check out my YouTube channel, Positive Sarcasm, and Positive Sarcasm Podcast. I have posted on both of those channels, so go ahead and check them out. Like, subscribe, hit the bell. Hit the bell. Okay, well, first things first, the elephant in the room. You may be asking why I have a DVD of the movie Geely behind me. Geely, if you don't know, is one of the worst movies ever made, starring Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez. Yeah, so why do I have a copy of this terrible, terrible movie? Well, that's not really the question you should be asking. The question you should be asking is when I open it, there's a receipt. Henceforth, somebody paid for this pile of shit. Let's take a look here. Why on earth would my friend, my dear, dear friend of, 7 years, Turcotte, pay $6.34, wait a minute, okay, hold on a second, let's look into this. He bought Titus Season 3 for $27, he bought Troll 2 for $7.97, which is a cult classic, even though it's a bad movie. But why on earth would you buy Geely? Why would you spend $7.97 for this pile of moose shit? That's what I want to know. This is an American travesty. You should be put on trial for the misappropriation of funds. So, how dare you? I have the evidence, Your Honor. And I want answers. So, Turcotte, if you want to go ahead and get back at me regarding this, regarding these allegations, please feel free to do so. I'm not going to review this movie. I can just tell you to completely just hold your time for something else better. It's let's see, how long is this pile of shit? It's 121 minutes. So yeah, it's approximately 2 hours longer than it should be. But yeah, that's why that's there, because sometimes we all need to be reminded of the terrible decisions we once made, such as the acting careers of Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez. A couple that used to be. God, why were we subjected to that shit? Oh, an addendum to we talked about on a couple weeks ago on the podcast that I was building a gym set. And I was buying this, and I was buying that, and all. Okay, so there is an addendum to that. So we originally talked about how much we were going to spend if you were to do the initial purchase. How much would it be for a Olympic barbell? Because there's few types of barbells. There are curl bars, which they're bent. They have like bent parts. You can get a straight bar or a curl bar. Then there's a 5-foot bar. And then there is an Olympic bar. Olympic bars are designed to handle up to 300 pounds and past 300 pounds. So for any actual bodybuilder, you're going to need a bar that can handle up to 300 pounds. And generally that is an Olympic bar. An Olympic bar is, as I said, it's 7 feet long. And at the end, it doesn't have a 1-inch, because when you see weights, when you go and buy weight plates, they come in two sizes, 1-inch and 2-inch. And generally, when you are a real lifter or you are a gym lifter, you're using 2-inch plates or using plates with 2-inch openings. So what you do is you have to go out. You buy an Olympic bar. It has 2-inch tails on each side. And that generally will drive the price up on the bar. And I spent roughly $100 on the bar. Now, if you want to spend $50 on the bar, you would just order simply from China, and it'll get here in a couple months. So if you have time, you can save approximately 50% by purchasing it from China. But if you want it now, it's going to cost you about $100. They have ones that the one I bought is It's collapsible, so it's going to come here in 3 pieces, and you screw on each side, but it's still capable of handling 300 pounds. It's actually coming from, my camera that I broke is coming from South Korea. Obviously not North Korea. I don't see me buying anything from that country anytime soon. I don't think we're allowed to. But that's one thing. So the bar is on its way. It should be here in a couple days, actually. That's one thing. On top of that, I already bought the weight set. The bench. So I bought the bench with a squat rack. So the squat rack, the adjustable bench for incline, decline, and straight bench with a preacher curl extension, so I can do preacher curls or standard bar curls on the bench. That's included with it, with leg extension and leg curls also built in. So I get 4 different sets of exercises: squat, leg work, and bench and curls for $200. So there's $300 spent. Now, for the original $360 we were talking about, say you have a $30 a month membership that you're canceling, and you want to take that year-long membership and invest it into something else. So now we've taken care of legs, so leg curls, leg extensions, bicep curls, and bench and squats. Super important. Now we need the bar. The bar is extra $100. Great. So now you can deadlift, you can squat, and you can do rows. Perfect. So standing rows. Standing rows are super important for doing back work. And then, so you have that as well. Awesome. So you're doing the back, you got the legs, you got the chest, you got the arms. Okay, so what's next? Well, if you got a 45 to 50 pound Olympic bar, well, you're going to need weights. Weights are the most expensive thing to purchase, just simply by per pound. So when the pandemic hit, everybody started buying, Pelotons and rowing machines and squat machines, or squat racks and weights. Weights went out of control. I don't know what they originally cost per unit before or used on Facebook Marketplace. Right now they're going for $2 a pound. So if you're going to buy, for most people, if you're going to buy a 45-pound weight plate, it's going to cost you $2 a pound. So it's going to cost you $90 just for one plate. And if you're going to do any type of lifting at all, you're obviously, because one weight plate, you can do chest work, you can do curl work, and of course you're going to be putting it on your leg platform when you're doing leg extensions and leg curls. So you're going to need that 45-pound bar. Or when you're doing preacher curls and you're on the preacher machine, you're going to need that one 45-pound thing, but it's going to cost you $90. I bought 2 of them, but I went and did some research, obviously, because that's the most expensive thing. And I didn't want to wait 2 months. I have work to do. So I went did a little searching, and apparently there is a company, or there is a civil engineer. I got in contact with a civil engineer. What's his name? He's casting, what do you call it? Weights for me right now. I actually just got it. Let me go ahead and look up his email. Or not his email. I'm not going to preach him yet. See. Let me look him up really quick. Zillow, podcast, eBay, FedEx, Zillow, Craigslist. What's his name? Name is Jeff. The Geoff one. So, I don't know. So, we got to talking. He is a civil engineer, and he has started a small business casting concrete into weight plates. 45 pounds, cured weight plates. Now, the only thing I can't do is drop them on a hard surface, okay, because it's concrete. But if I want to deadlift, if I want to squat, and I want to bench with these items, I can get a 45-pound weight plate for not $2 a pound, 75 cents a pound. So for 2 45s, I agreed to terms. It's $65 for 90 pounds. And now for an additional 25 cents per pound, he will coat them. Coating is obviously more durability. It's a prettier look, but the more durability for those who want to do more intense workouts or whatever. But that doesn't really matter to me. The fact is, they need to be built, they need to be cast and cured, so I can start lifting again, per se, instead of all this body weight cardio bullshit. But 75 cents a pound is a huge thing because let's face it, I'm investing in other things. I bought a coffee roaster. I got the beans that are going to be on the way. I have other stuff that I'm working on. We're working on the move as we speak as far as prepping all the other shit that's going to be going on. So there's like all these moving parts that I'm working on. But the weight thing, that's the one thing I talked about, and I was going to follow through on it. So that's where I am right now. So I'm waiting to hear back once it takes about a few days, he said, to cast the concrete. Once it's cured, I'll go and pick them up locally. So that's $65 for 2 of them, and if they work good, I will get 2 more, and I will be able to bench 225 just like I used to, no problem. What's my max? Like closer to 300, but at least getting started so I can start doing rows, start doing simple squatting, and start doing bench press again is awesome. So now I can have that stuff. Obviously, if I'm paying 65 versus what? 180? $2 a pound, 45. So 180 versus 65. And 90 pounds versus 45. So that's some awesome math. But if you live in my area and you want to get in contact with this fine gentleman, this civil engineer, I will test out the weights. If I agree that they are good for what they're supposed to be used for, I'll give out his information, and then you guys can contact him directly if he wants to be contacted, if he wants to be exploited. But that's super important. That's super important because we're trying to, do more things ourselves and be more self-sufficient, because this is going to save me a lot of money down the road. A lot of money. A lot of time, too. So what else am I going to be buying on top of that? Well, there's also rowing machines. There's ellipticals. There is treadmills. So I'm working on all that other stuff right now as well. The elliptical is another item that I'm going to be purchasing towards the end of the year, is for just cardio purposes. Not for me specifically, but it'll be nice to have some cardio equipment as well. Rowing machines you can get for $90. And sissy squat racks or sissy squat 4 boards you can get for between $80 and $90. So those are the additional items that you may want to round out your gym per se. And then, of course, if you are into shopping for used stuff, you can get a lot of those fitness equipment, those Bowflex type things for not a lot of money through like Facebook Marketplace or through Craigslist. So those can fill out your gym altogether. Remember, we're trying to be more self-sufficient here. It's super important that we do that. So that I just wanted to bring that up to you, that I was able to contact somebody. So if you have somebody in your area who's able to cast concrete weights, whether it's 45s or 25s or 10s, whatever it is, you're able to get them for far less money, because I wanted to at least prove to you that I'm able to create a gym for not a huge amount of money and not break your bank right at the very beginning. Because let's face it, if you were to buy 225s, 210s, and 245s, or 445s right off the bat, that will cost you as much as like 3 machines. And then what? So then it's like, okay, now it's not a matter of spending 1 year's worth of membership on your own home gym. Now it's a matter of spending 3 years. And that's like, okay, well, yeah, I mean, still, it's worth it. But it's like now the initial upfront cost is getting ridiculous. But right now, my initial upfront cost is for only 1 year's worth of membership. Okay? I got the squat rack, I got the bench press, the leg workout, the bar, the Olympic bar, not some shit bar, an Olympic bar. Anybody looking to bench over 300 has to invest in a more expensive bar or a used bar. But then, of course, now I got the weights. Cool. So now, back to work. Now I can feel good when I'm eating the mashed potatoes, knowing I don't have a real outlet other than cardio to, expel all that weight, all that extra carb carnage. So there was that. But yes, all these moving parts, and it's crazy because I'm going to be buying all this stuff, and then I'm going to have to move it a couple months from now. So it's going to make moving harder, but it's going to be nice to know. But believe me, it's better to start now. It is definitely better to start now. So, yeah, there is that. Coffee is great today. It is fucking hot as shit out. Anyways, I wanted to just get to one article, and then I got to get out of here for today. I got to go look at a house in Northampton. This was on ARS Technica. Also, congratulations to anybody who bought early on in the week last week in the stock market. Great week. Now, this was on ARS Technica by Kate Cox. Now, right now, all of social media is under severe scrutiny and I got to tread the line. I got to toe the line. Walk this line carefully to keep it cultural, but constitutional at the right time. So right now, all information is going through social media. A lot of it, Twitter, Facebook, and now apparently our movie video streaming services. So apparently, Netflix filed a copyright claim against tweets criticizing a documentary called Cuties. I don't think I've talked about this on my podcast at all. Why have I not talked about Cuties? Because I don't have Netflix, number one, and number two, I just don't give a shit. Now, here's what I do care about, though. And I'm going to read the initial. So the company filed takedowns against its own trailer when shared in critical tweets. This is an issue because now to voice your opinion about something, if you do it on social media, you can be blocked or banned or suppressed or censored. This is a problem. This is a major problem. Netflix is apparently fighting controversy about a film on its platform by issuing copyright takedown requests against tweets that include negative commentary about the movie, according to a new report. Torrent Freak reported today that Netflix has sent dozens of takedown requests on Twitter targeting specific posts that criticize the movie Cuties, a French film written by and directed by Mamouna Doucoure. That's how you say it. That's how you say it. And released in the United States on Netflix in September. While the tweets are still live, except where the original poster deleted them, the videos attached to the post now display messages reading, "The media has been disabled," in response to a report by the copyright owner. Now, why about this movie? This movie talks. I haven't seen the movie. Now, the idea of what the trailer shows and how the trailer portrays the movie versus what the movie's actually about. It's more of a documentary about things. If you want to go find out more about the movie, you go ahead and you check that out. It's the premise of the article is what fascinating and infuriating to me. So, let me see here. There's a discussion to be had about the actual film and to what degree it does or does not convey the message and its themes or whatever. So controversy regarding it. Here in the United States, however, the film's marketing was instantly politicized before the film itself became available to watch. Detractors took a look at the poster, which depicted a troop of 11-year-old dancers in suggestive poses, and decreed it as only a half step away from child pornography. So, accusing them of promotion, they were accused of promotion of lewd visual material depicting a child. Netflix executives repeatedly disputed those claims. Cuties is a social commentary, so they're arguing about the premise of the movie, why it's there. Is it educational, or is it just flat out borderline porn, underage porn? But a few days later, let's see. Misunderstood. Director's story. The film is obviously played very well at Sundance without any controversy and who gives a shit about Sundance? So Netflix takedown requests. This is what is the issue here, which are still rolling in today, seem only to have targeted tweets that describe the film negatively, although some more than others. Here's one of the tweets. Imagine a child seeing this. #Cuties, #Netflix, #cancel Netflix Cuties. One message read, "Warning, contains explicit content." Another similar message said, "Go ahead and try to justify how this film is an appropriate representation of 11-year-old." So obviously, whether you agree or disagree with the statements is one thing, but in those tweets, it shows the trailer. Trailer is public access. Trailer is public. It's available for public use. It's available for promotion. So, what the dozens of tweets, Netflix issued a copyright infringement, issuing that only to twit. So they showed the trailer. They showed the trailer in the tweet, said they didn't like the movie, found it disgusting, but instead of disagreeing with them, they issued takedown orders. So one person who shared the trailer told Torrent Freak that she didn't do anything wrong in doing so. Someone posted a trailer, and I retweeted it and stated how I felt about the movie, she said. I believe people have the right to be upset about the movie. If people share the trailer and say, go watch it, it's not a problem. But if someone disagrees with it, it's a problem. So many of the tweets in question shared the film's trailer, which is widely and publicly available on YouTube for anyone to view or share. Torrent Freak notes that the cluster of claims is unusual for Netflix, which has sent roughly 300 DMCA claims on Twitter in the past month, half of which centered on tweets related to cuties before Netflix started targeting cuties' tweets. Most of the claims it sent were related to accounts known for distributing pirated content, though. So that is the kicker. Now, is this pirated content? That's it's a question. Are the accounts illegal? Or is this just or are these individual? First of all, they asked Netflix for comment, but they haven't heard anything back yet. Now, are the accounts legit? Question one. Is the information or the video that they're sharing private information, or is it for public sharing? That's another question. Now, talking shit about a movie or talking shit about a person or talking shit about a subject, is that illegal? Is that a part of the free speech platform? Now, obviously, these are private companies. They can do what they do what they want. But when a company becomes so big that it now monopolizes the idea of speech in general, because with COVID out there, you can't exactly just go get a permit. I don't know how easy it is to just, go get a permit in your state and go and make a statement in a public forum in a public place. I don't know how easy that is. So everybody moves to the online forum. They move to their podcasts. They move to social media. They move to YouTube. But when you go and say something negative about a film, or you don't like the film, and now these large streaming services can enforce you to basically shut down your content, to censor your content, to censor your opinion, that's a problem. That's a serious problem, because then it's not just a documentary. What if it's about a public figure, or an event that's taking place, or a company you don't like? What if all of a sudden all they have to do is issue a takedown, which is not a hard thing to do. Large companies do it all the time. Nintendo does it constantly. But it's not even like Nintendo does it not only for anything negative. They just do it in general. If you post anything about Nintendo, any video from Nintendo, they shut it right down. That's just how they are. But we're talking about somebody speaking negatively or not liking the idea of this movie being out there. And then they just censor, whether they're censoring half the tweet or all the tweet, it's still censorship, and on a large platform. And now I truly think that social media, because it's not just a private company anymore, you now are in control and controlling the conversation. Okay. You're now controlling the conversation. And if you are censoring that conversation, that goes against the First Amendment. And that's a big problem. That's a big problem to me. That I'm very much about hearing any argument, or being able to hear any argument. That's the thing. You start shutting that down, you're now going down a rabbit hole which has all kinds of demons in the dark tunnels. So you really have to reconsider this. But generally you won't, because these social media companies don't have that idealism like I do. They don't believe about being able to vet whatever's in your head so that you can create a better version of yourself by getting whatever's in your head out and sharing your opinion and hearing the rebuttal to that opinion. That's the thing. So if they're now censoring it, they need to be included and amended, whereas if you are a social media company and you are in control of the narrative, you can't censor anymore, because now you're censoring speech. We don't do that. Or apparently we do. And now it's a major problem. And now our free speech needs to include social media. Because social media, it's not a private company. Like, for example, Honeywell. Honeywell makes products. Twitter hosts speech. Twitter hosts information. Information should be widely and freely distributed. And also reviewed and criticized and debunked. That's the power of information. When you censor it, and when you censor opinions, We're going down a terrible rabbit hole. So what Netflix did, in my opinion, is wrong. Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, anywhere, anybody who allowed these DMCAs, these takedown notices, to be honored, they're wrong as well, in my opinion. And also, based on the Constitution, when you control the idea of speech, that is a huge problem for me. That is a huge problem for me. It's one of the reasons why I don't talk politics on my platform, because I'm just not interested on a company level. This whole website, for the most part, my YouTube stuff delves very, very little into politics. The podcast, that's the number one rule: no politics. My social media, very, very little of that. Twitter, I'm not on Twitter. I don't like Jack Dorsey. I don't trust Jack Dorsey. I don't like or trust Twitter. But as far as the only time I really delved into politics was when I talked about, was in my old articles. But that's pretty much it. But as far as this is the idea of, I do a podcast. It relies heavily on speech. It relies heavily on information. When that starts getting censored, I've got a problem. And then if that was an issue, then I need to take the next step, whatever that may be. But I need to take a step to ensure that my right to have a podcast, to build one and air one myself, needs to be protected. Because if it's not, that's something I need to address. That's like a huge, to me, that is like the ultimate red flag. The ultimate red flag. So that is, I wanted to bring that up to you. You need to go and look this up. This is very, very important. You're not allowed to, and now apparently you're not allowed, and it's becoming that way, not allowed to talk negatively about companies or the content that they provide. Because all somebody has to do is issue a takedown notice, and then that's it. You're censored. What's your recourse after that? And that's something we have to really pay attention to very closely. So that is the end for today. I got some other stuff I had to take care of. But I just wanted to briefly run by the addendum to the update to the gym building and the money that's being put towards it. The coffee roaster will be here next week, and then I'm going to order the beans shortly afterwards. I'll let you know how that turns out. If it turns out good, there may be a possible product in the future for making coffee beans. So just stay tuned for that. And then, of course, I want to talk to you about the Netflix thing, because that bothers me very, very much. And then everything else can wait for next week. Well, it is next week. Everything else will wait for next Wednesday. But until then, you can still find me on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Podcast Addict, anywhere where podcasts are available, including my own website. I also just finished a video that I might be debuting very early in the morning of Thanksgiving. I was going to possibly drop it this week. I'm actually going to wait, filter through it, add a couple things here, and I might pilot it with a couple of friends of mine, see how they like it. But I'm going to wait on that. And I just dropped I dropped two shorties. I dropped a teaser trailer, too, for Cyberpunk, and I dropped a nice little calming video that you guys may enjoy. So go ahead and check that out on Positive Sarcasm on YouTube. And then go ahead and also like, subscribe, and share. Feel free, please, support the podcast. PositiveSarcasm.com/donate. It is very, very, very important. Okay? So, until then, thank you for listening, watching, and subscribing. I will all talk to you on Wednesday. I will talk to you all on Wednesday. Recorded here from the Spare Parts Studio. This has been a Positive Sarcasm presentation.